Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Giselle Pellico has thanked her supporters in a speech outside court after her ex-husband, Dominique Pellico, was jailed for 20 years for drugging her and recruiting strangers to rape her.
J'ai voulu, en ouvrant les portes de ce procès le 2 septembre dernier,
by opening the doors to this trial on September the 2nd last year, I wished for society to join in the debates that were held.
J'ai confiance.
I never regretted this decision, she said. Hundreds of supporters again cheered as Giselle left the court, making her way through the crowd and into a waiting car. Dominique Pellico, who was jailed for 20 years, the maximum possible sentence, is considering appealing. Of the 50 other men to be sentenced alongside Dominique in a mass rape trial which has shocked France, 46 were found guilty of rape, 2 guilty of attempted rape, and 2 guilty of sexual assault. President Vladimir Putin says he should have acted earlier in Ukraine and prepared more before the full-scale invasion in February 2022. Speaking at a marathon 4-hour-long end-of-year press conference, the Russian leader also denied that the collapse of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime is a defeat for Russia. The annual event is an attempt for Mr. Putin to deliver a carefully choreographed positive message without too much free or independent scrutiny from journalists. The new de facto leader of Syria, Ahmed al-Sharaa, has said the country is exhausted by war and is not a threat to its neighbours or to the West. In an interview, he called for sanctions on Syria to be lifted. Sharaa led the lightning offensive that toppled Bashar al-Assad's regime less than 2 weeks ago. He denied that he wanted to turn Syria into a version of Afghanistan and said he believed in education for women. French President Emmanuel Macron has arrived in Mayotte as the French Indian Ocean territory continues to reel from the devastation of Cyclone Shido. Macron said he had brought 4 tons of food and health cargo with him. At least 31 people are reported by French officials to have died, while thousands are still missing after the cyclone tore through the small islands on Saturday. A state of exceptional natural disaster has been declared in Mayotte. Officials say at least 13 people have died and 2 more are missing after an Indian Navy speedboat ploughed into the side of a passenger ferry off the coast of Mumbai. 3 Navy personnel are among the dead, while more than 100 people have been rescued. Footage of the incident posted online shows the speedboat circling before colliding with the ferry, which later capsized. Police say a Google Street View image of a man loading a large white plastic bag into the boot of his car has helped unravel a murder case in a northern Spanish town. It captured the exact moment the body of the victim was allegedly being removed. 2 people were arrested last month accused of being responsible for the disappearance.
House Republicans have now unilaterally decided to break a bipartisan agreement.
The possibility of a US government shutdown has grown more likely after President-elect Donald Trump called on Republican lawmakers to reject a bipartisan funding bill and followed heavy criticism of the bill by tech billionaire Elon Musk. The short-term funding bill will need to be passed by Congress by the end of the week to prevent many federal government offices from shuttering beginning on Saturday. And braving cold temperatures of just above freezing point, around 70 people stripped off to red swimsuits and Santa hats for the 21st Budapest Santa Speedo run. Participants ran cheering and shouting across the city centre, much to the amusement of locals and tourists. Moving, cheering and singing gave the runners the energy to bear the chilly temperatures, they said, insisting that they were not cold. This year, the donations will go to a foundation which supports families with children who have Prader-Willi syndrome, a rare genetic condition with a key symptom of excessive appetite. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.